This changes everything for the Los Angeles Lakers as a shocking new report has dropped, revealing some wild information as it pertains to LeBron James and his future in LA. And this report has revealed that things are a lot more complicated than we initially thought. We're going to break that down and discuss what it means going forward, as well as some wild updates surrounding injuries and other things as it pertains to Austin Reaves, LeBron James, and more as we are approaching one of the most important off seasons in recent memory for the Lakers. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the 90% or so who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable over here on the channel, so thank you guys for that. And if you're not a part of, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure that subscribe button if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed. Ladies and gentlemen, a ton to go over today, and news is flowing in Lakers land, and we're obviously making a ton of videos. Something dropped yesterday that changes the landscape a little bit of this offseason, but also over the next few years in the future of this Lakers team as it pertains to LeBron James. Now, I had a video on it yesterday about how, all reports and all signs were pointing to, LeBron James at least picking up his player option. However, things have taken a little bit of an interesting turn here as it pertains to LeBron James, as we have multiple new reports. Now, of course, we covered this about how he's not expected to take any kind of pay cut, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. But an article dropped here from The Athletic and The New York Times. LeBron James's future. So, comparing a couple different reports again from Times and The Athletic. James' situation, meanwhile, might be even more complicated than, of course, Rob Pelinka and the Luka Doncic situation. As The Athletic reported last season, one source briefed on James' thinking said that he was expected to play up to 2 more NBA seasons, which would take him through the 2025-2026 season. And, of course, the easiest outcome for all involved is to pick up his player option before heading off into retirement. And of course, if that's a choice, the Lakers would plan on celebrating his remarkable career all season long, all these different things. And a couple different things here. He basically goes on, the rest of this basically goes on to say if he does retire after next season, they'll be going on to the thing. But very interesting here is the first sentence. As The Athletic reported last season, one source briefed on James' thinking said he was expected to play up to 2 more NBA seasons. Now, this was before this last season. So in theory, these reports are saying that he's only going to play 1 more year. And as you continue to kind of go on here, but if he decides to play longer and wants a Lakers extension to go along with that choice, then team sources say that conversation will begin with the familiar question, is he still happy with the Lakers? And you can see, you can go down to the third paragraph there. Only James truly knows how he sees it, and even he might not have clarity just yet. To put it simply, Rudy Gobert wouldn't have dominated like he did if the Lakers had any big men whom he trusted. Now, this is very interesting because another report dropped basically revealing that it is not a surefire thing that most likely he will, of course, pick up his player option to play for Lakers next season. But beyond that, depending how long he's going to stay in the NBA, there's a good chance that he might head away from the Lakers. And that still could happen in theory this offseason, albeit it seems very unlikely at this point. But it is extremely, extremely interesting that A, multiple sources are now saying that this might be his last year, but B, other sources are kind of saying that, hey, he might not, be a guaranteed lock to finish his career in LA. You can see this here. So might James think about finishing his career elsewhere in pursuit of a fifth ring, sorry. When posed that question, both league sources close to James and team sources would not rule that possibility out. And that was before revealing the elimination game. So this is obviously the most telling part here. They wouldn't rule that possibility out of him pursuing of course, ring elsewhere if things happen. The unsolicited mention of Davis in his post-game news conference is a reminder that the two were very close before their unexpected breakup. When asked about his future after Game 5, James made it clear that he's not sure how much longer he wants to play or perhaps even where. You don't know what the Lakers roster will look like next year besides the guys that are locked into contracts. I got a lot of stuff to think about myself. I don't know what the roster will look like. I don't know where I stand right now. So, you're pairing all this together. Now, of course, in all likelihood, he'll pick up his player option, and that's according to Shams. At the same time, his comments, as he would, he's going to do what's best for himself, his family, and his business, and all these different things. So he's going to, I still ultimately think getting paid the 77.5 million is the best bet for his future. But regardless, these reports are a little bit scary, especially these two here when, two league sources close to James said that, hey, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for him to pursue a ring elsewhere. And I don't know if LeBron James, he wants to win. Now, at the same time, he's won before. He's won multiple championships. So it's at the point where it's like, okay, does he want to leave LA and, go to another new team, then have another new team on his resume, which could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what you think. But regardless of that, the situation is a lot more complicated than we all thought. And to pair that with the fact that if he does return to the Lakers, league sources say he's not expected to consider any kind of pay cut, that makes things even more interesting for this Los Angeles Lakers team because, as we know, a lot of Lakers fans are hoping that LeBron James would simply opt out, take a pay cut, whether that be, 3 or 4 million under, so that we can use the full MLE to get a better team surrounding LeBron. LeBron seemingly has no interest in doing that. He has no interest in helping out. I don't want to say no interest in helping out the Lakers, but as it pertains to a pay cut, which makes sense. I mean, he's helped teams in the past, and we saw it last year, or a little bit ago, a couple of years ago, it may have been, when LeBron did ultimately take a $2 or $3 million pay cut to help them use their full MLE. But without him taking a pay cut here, it changes things a little bit. And it might, maybe it goes to show a little bit of what, at this point of his career, he's more worried about, not necessarily the bottom line, but he's not fully all in on the Lakers, which is perfectly fine. It makes sense. And when I say fully not all in, I'm of course referring to he has to keep his options open. He's at the tail end of his career. He has to maximize his career, and it makes total sense on that front. Pair that with the fact that LeBron, and a couple other updates here before I wrap up, he suffered a grade 2 MCL knee sprain from a collision with Dante DiVincenzo. I saw TikToks, Instagram Reels, all these different things about how LeBron James flopped when he went down so hard, all these different things. And he ultimately sprained his MCL. And David McMenamin said that if the Lakers had advanced to a game 6, LeBron wouldn't have played. It would have snapped his 292 game streak in a row of playing playoff games. I don't think that would have happened. I think he still would have just played and see what happens and maybe go back to the locker room here and there. But regardless of that, we'll never know. Luckily, of course, now it's the offseason. Not luckily the Lakers lost, but luckily it's the offseason. He'll have time to heal. He'll be 100% for next season. But to deal with, a grade 2 MCL sprain for the rest of the game, and also Austin Reaves, who was dealing with a left big toe sprain throughout the whole playoffs. He was not walking out on off days to try to get to the playoffs. Like, this team was, and every team, let me be very, very clear. Every team is battling injuries. Every team is battling things like this. It's not just the Lakers, but of course, us being, diehard Lakers fans or casual Lakers fans, whatever you are, it's important to know this stuff. Shout out to Reaves. And despite his horrible playoff run, and he'll be in a ton of trade talks this offseason, all these different things, I want to give a shout out to Reaves. He had a fantastic season. And obviously right now, there's a lot of hate going towards him because of the way he played in the playoffs and the Lakers getting eliminated round 1. He had a fantastic season, a bit of a rough playoffs, spurt. Yes, despite that rough playoff spurt, he was dealing with an injury. He had a fantastic year. He grew a lot as a player, and I'm not seeing many people give Reaves praise, so I want to go ahead and give Austin Reaves some praise there, and it's going to be interesting. And quickly, regarding this specific issue regarding the paycheck cut, losing LeBron would not free up any significant power for the Lakers. Just an FYI, because some can seem confused on this. Lakers payroll next year projects to be about 190. Salary cap is 154. So removing LeBron's 52 million would put LA roughly only 16 million below the cap, and the room exception once their cap is used is just under 9 million. So LeBron's not going to, we wouldn't assume he's going to leave this offseason, but for those of you clamoring for him to do so and to get better assets around him, it's not feasible. It's not going to increase their spending power if LeBron James leaves. I know there's a big misconception about that. So shout out to Trevor Lane for clearing this up here. It's just not going to happen. And yes, a pay cut would have helped as it pertains to the MLE and getting the full MLE for the team, especially depending who is available. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to LeBron. And ladies and gentlemen, things have taken a bit of a turn in this situation. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching. And hopefully the Lakers are going to make some moves here very soon once the season concludes. Cheers.